of an offense that put up 740 before? Any idea?
I don't know. I don't know. At some point, probably somewhere close to it. But end of the day, it's about wins and losses, man. That's all we're concerned about.
I know that earlier in the year, you guys weren't sure you could just line up and run the ball at somebody, but certainly looked at it. The guys said kind of going in, hey, there might be a chance to run the ball on these guys. Was that part of the plan?
To run it? Absolutely.
Yeah, as much as you did, even?
Yeah. Well, you don't know until you get into it. You know what I mean? But the tempo was good. I think we've come a long ways. Just beginning of the season, as inexperienced as we were up front, it takes time for 5 guys to operate as one new system, all the things that go into it. Our backs have continued to get better, understanding our schemes, pressing the aiming points, and so that's why you've seen us continue to get better and better as we've gone through the season in that aspect.
How important is it, given obviously that you're without Demaria and now that Nate got out there and got some meaningful time on Saturday?
It's good for him, that he came out and played well. He'll have to have a hand in it, and now he'll have to have a hand in it this week too.
740 yards, 37 points on the road. I mean, you guys had some struggles, at LSU, at Florida, stuff like that. I mean, how much of a sign of progress should people read into the performance down in Tennessee?
It is. Well, it isn't. That's not an easy environment to go play in. They're competing for a conference championship at that time, and so I think our kids should take away confidence. During the stretch where we weren't, the scoreboard still wasn't what we wanted last Saturday, right? But I've said that our kids have continued to get better, and we've practiced in a really good way. Last week isn't the end result that we want, but we're continuing to get better, and young guys are starting to come on. So, that's the positive sign.
How much from a yardage standpoint, you guys are setting records, but the turnovers, the red zone, some of that goes hand in hand, too, because you've had a lot of red zone turnovers. But what do you do? Is that the next area to address?
Well, there's still a lot of areas to address, but absolutely, you can't turn the football over. You can't turn it over in this league. You can't turn it over on the road. So we've got to learn to take care of the football. Some of that's the quarterback, just knowing how to get to 2nd and 10. They beat me with the call. They're in position, just throw it away. It's our skill guys taking care of it when they have it in their hands. And at this point in the season, I would hope that we'd be further along, that our young kids would have gotten a little bit better at that,
How crippling it?
What's that?
What did you think the way Dubinsky played?
Probably did a good job, snaps for most of the day were pretty consistent. I thought he handled, the silent communication, all that stuff extremely well. First start on the road, tough environment, so really overall pleased with what he did.
I remember the first time we talked to you over at Faroe, you said there are some young guys on the line that maybe could have played last year that we're excited about, but has this line exceeded what you thought coming in?
I don't know. I don't think we're anywhere near where we want to be as a staff. I think it's probably exceeded the expectations of the outside perspective. I think we can still be better in a lot of ways. But that's me as a coach too. But I think you look at where we were as far as number of sacks a year ago, rush average, number of 0-yard gains, and you lose 2 guys that get drafted, and lose a couple more guys that were starters, and another guy that's a projected starter. This group's fought, battled, competed, and continued to get better. And so, it speaks a lot of, to Coach Ellerby and the job that he's done with those guys up front, and the way those guys have, continued to compete and battle as the year's gone on.
Coach, when you've been able to run the ball 50, 60 times against Tennessee last week, what does that say about the running backs? They've been able to handle that kind of workload in the game.
It says a lot about the offensive line. It says a lot about the backs too. Those guys, the tight ends as well. They're a major part of it too. And their willingness to come off the ball and fight and compete for that many snaps. That's not an easy thing to do. So, I think our backs just throughout the year have gotten a lot better. Understanding, the aiming points, understanding the blocking schemes against the different defensive fronts that they're going to see, pressing the hole and making better decisions with football.
How crippling have drops been this year from wide receivers, and is it higher than usual or?
It's higher than we want, absolutely. Drops are they kill you. They do. It's in some ways you'd rather be in 1st and 15 than you would 2nd and 10. You know, give me one more down. You know, something that we stress going into the season. We're not where we want to be, and we got to get better here as we turn into next year too.
What can you do, especially Jamon Demetrios, who were probably your 2 top receivers, but also the 2 most guilty of a few drops here and there? I mean, what can you do?
We're all guilty of it. I'm not gonna point a finger, but what can you do about it?
Yeah.
Time on task, man. You know, and it's not just spring ball. It's not just practices in training camp. It's you got to treat yourself like a pro. You know what I mean? You got to train yourself. It's a skill. You know, and you got to treat it as a skill. You know, if Michael Jordan only went out and shot 10 free throws a day, he probably wouldn't be a very good free throw shooter. You know, you go out and you practice and you outwork it, then you'll overcome it.
When you're going against a defense that maybe struggles in a certain area, how much in this offense can you plan to take advantage of that, or with the RPOs, is it still mostly based on the look that the defense?
We have the ability to do whatever. You know, what I mean, it's not all RPO. We take some of that off. At certain points in the game too, and so you're trying to take advantage of what you want. In game planning, it's all personnel matchups and schemes. You know what I mean? You start with the scheme, then you try to find a way to get to the personnel that you want to attack and protect the guys that you want to protect up front or out on the edge too. So it's all those things coming together that ultimately culminate and end up in your game plan.